Hello and welcome to a new morning briefing presented by Stein Investment. Let's start straight away with our volume analysis, and we can see there is some rising demand in new trading positions in total. As we can see here, it's well balanced across the board of currencies here, but the major interest is in Swiss franc positions, and they are all long. So let's compare it to the strength of the Swiss franc, and we can see that the Swiss franc was pretty weak, and there is some rising demand out of nowhere because there have been no news event. It could have been a reason for this, and we'll see how long this will last. So for the moment, I don't see any clear reason to go long for the Swiss franc, but I'll keep it on my watch list for the rest of the day, because volume trends are always interesting, but they should go in line with the strengths, and that's what I currently can't see here. Yesterday I was asked by a user if I could do some recap video in the evening, and I denied that because it's extremely time consuming, at least for a video producer beginner like me, and I usually keep you up to date with the screenshots in the morning briefing channel. However, I think that a good idea is to do this recap as part of the morning briefing, and so let's have a look at the yesterday's trade recommendations. And let's start with the US dollar shorting against the Canadian, and you see that was the screenshot I posted in the morning briefing channel, hitting the profit target here, and it continued to weaken and moved down to the support level here. This was a bigger support from M15. It's an older support level which is already weakening here, and it seems the US dollar is the weakest currency right now, continuing its down move. The other recommendation was Aussie dollar against the Japanese yen. As you can see, there has been almost no profit at all, but also no drawdown, and this pair was just ranging all day long, and so I closed it in the evening because I didn't expect any further move and wanted to close it before the Asian session starts. So let's have a look at the currency strength overview for today, and we can see the euro is again clearly on the weak side, British pound undecided here around the neutral level, US dollar clearly weak, Canadian a strong long trend but midterm and short term neutral. Then we have the Swiss franc, which is mainly on the weak side, but got some fuel here, as we also saw in the volume analysis, so hard to judge. The Japanese yen is pretty neutral with no clear dynamic, and the Aussie dollar is clearly on the strong side, as well as the New Zealand dollar, which both developed some buy dynamic. So the recommendation for today would be buy Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar against the weak currencies like the US dollar and the euro. If we dive into the charts of the pairs I spoke about, then you can see Aussie and US dollar are clearly on the opposite sides of the FX power scale, and I already entered a trade here when I noticed this breakout setup around the London opening, and went long for the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar, and the other two charts was going long for the Aussie against the euro. Let's see, there is some potential here. So if we trade this opportunity, I would say place the stop here in this area and trade it up to here. So let's hide the crosshair. I think that should be enough for the stop, and then we place our profit target here. There is Euro NZD. Ooh. That looks a lot more complicated because you can see there are several support levels here covering almost the entire chart. So I'll drop that for the moment and stay at the sideline because this is no favorable setup for me to trade with. So let's move on with our non-Forex analysis, starting with the Bitcoin as usual. And we can see the long-term trend is neutral, showing some short-term sell dynamic here, but we can also see that it's ranging most of the time, and so it's currently not really attractive to trade. Oil is a bit clearer because we can see there is a long-term sell trend here, which is pretty established here over the last hours. And if you want to trade a short, I would recommend to set the stop loss here and place the profit target here at the 80% ATR. There's still enough potential in this pair because we can see there is only 48% ATR reached today, so is enough room for a nice short move to the downside. The Dow Jones is currently not moving that much. It's clearly ranging and showing clearly neutral strengths here, analyzed by IX Power. So it's also not really worth to trade. And the German DAX is pretty much the same picture. So yeah, I think we can drop the indices for the moment because they are not attractive to trade. Bitcoin is also ranging, and the only non-Forex symbol which shows some interesting trading opportunity is oil for today. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.